Welcome guys to a brand new season in the Stoke career mode. Last season we earned a promotion from the championship, winning the competition, and now we are back in the big time as we look to bring back the brutes of Britain. Let's get into it. Let's see what our objectives are from the board. Okay, avoid relegation, that's not too bad. You know, that's fairly realistic and fairly fair for us, to be honest. We also need to reach the round of 16 in the FA Cup, which is not bad as well. And in 2 seasons, they're expecting us to finish mid-table. That's definitely fair, I'm not going to lie to you, man. So this is how our team is looking going into the new Premier League season. And you know what? These players got us in the Premiership, so I'm not even looking to make too many changes this season. I think the only thing that I was talking about last season was maybe upgrading our midfield engine, so Pearson and Baker, so maybe bringing in another holding midfielder and then maybe another attacking midfielder so that we can rotate Bay a bit more. But in the most part, I'm fairly happy with my team. We have a few players that need to be moved on. As you can see here, we do have a few players that are going to be leaving the club once the transfer window opens, and you know what, these are down to the players that were unhappy throughout last season. They submitted a transfer request and teams came in for them, and we really had little choice because we weren't using them anyway. So you know, most of these players that you're seeing that are on transfer list, I don't really mind too much if they leave anyways. Yo, who is this? Nathan Lowe, 20 years old striker, 6'4", and he's showing great potential. So Stoke already have a player that's kind of in the likeness of Peter Crouch. That's very interesting. You know what? His contract is expiring in 12 months. We are going to give him a new contract. So we are expected to move on all of these fringe players this season. Then after July 1st, we'll be in a better position to see where we are as a squad. We've also got these 4 players that we brought up from our youth academy who are all developing pretty nicely, to be honest. You know, we have Montandon, who is earmarked to be the next Shaqiri in our side, and he has decent stats and he's also showing great potential. Howarth was the guy that we originally thought was going to be the next Ryan Shawcross, but his potential got downgraded so much. But we're still going to show some faith, loan him out and see what can happen with his overall stats. In terms of budgets, we have 45 million to reinvigorate this Stoke side and hopefully build a team that will survive relegation. First things first though, we are going to sort out our youth setup for this new season. E. Tucker did very well to find those 2 young strikers at the back end of last year, so we were going to fire all of them and try to find 5-star or 4-star scouts. So he just saved his job with those 2 strikers that he found us. He's so lucky. So we're going to fire these 2 3-stars. You know what guys, I had a change of heart. I want to hire 1 more 4-star scout. So we're going to bring Gisler on board, and for the final position I'm actually going to wait for a 4-star judgment scout to come because I think that's a bit more realistic for the level that we're at. We have 1 5-star scout if we find a gem out of nowhere, but for the most part we should be really aiming for the level that we're at for 3 to 4 stars, if I'm being totally honest with you. We're going to send the 5-star scout to England, restarting that search for the next Ryan Shawcross, and then we've also sent E. Tucker to Jamaica to see if he can find a player that has looked up to Ricardo Fuller. So all 5 of those players have left our squad and the scouts have set up their assignments. What do you guys think about the off season? I always find it a bit tedious in this off season, like going through all the stats, going through all the players, trying to rebuild for a new season. I feel like it takes so much time. Well, what's you guys' thoughts? I know some of you must enjoy it. Still quite a few players to move on still. And we have a very interesting shortlist here. Who to go for? So we are going to take a punt on Nikolai Remberg. He has the physical attributes. He definitely has the physical attributes. I think he is going to fit right in at Stoke. Nikolai Remberg, we're bringing you in. You know, Martel also looks like a really solid player, but I think he is just out of our reach. 1 more season, I think we can go for him if we can cement our place in the Premier League. But for now, we're going to go with Remberg. And this will be a shrewd signing because they're only looking for about 6 million too. Out of realism, when they offer them 10 million for him. Nikolai Remberg, nice to meet you Nikolai, good to see you. Oh, look at your agent. Anyways, have a seat. We're going to bring an absolute unit to the Bet365 stadium for the Premier League, and this is what it's all about, guys. You need to rebuild your squad with realistic players that make sense. You're going to be an important player for us. He wants to be crucial, that's fine too, bro. I don't mind. Yeah, 25.5k is fine, Nikolai. Welcome to Stoke FC. And guys, this is a huge signing for our season. The Premier League is all about pace and power. You need to have players that are mobile in the middle of the park. You need to have strong players that can duel for the full 90 minutes, and I think we have found the player that we need in the middle of the park in Nikolai. Remberg, welcome to Stoke FC, and we look forward to what you can bring. Look for him, absolute unit, love it, man. You know, Baker is slightly better than Pearson, is a bit more physical too, has the pace on him too also. So we're going to take out Pearson and put Remberg straight into the side. You know, it's interesting, in Baker, he's a right-footed holding midfielder, but we also have this youngster that we got from our academy last season, Platt. And even though we have him on the loan list, what I like about him is that he's left-footed, so he can slot in nicely for Baker eventually. But we're going to loan him out this season and see how much more he develops. He hasn't got any potential tag, but we're going to show some faith. Tommy Simkin, this goalkeeper, was out on loan last season as well, and he just came back. He's age 21 and he has decent stats, you know. We're going to put him on the bench. So now to put Remberg on a training plan, and the only thing I think he's lacking in is his sprint speed and agility. So we're going to put him on a wide half, but I'm thinking to maybe start him a holding midfielder so he can get full proficiency in that role. Alright, we're going to start him off on holding midfielder, and as soon as he's fully proficient in that role, then we're going to put him on a wide half to get his sprint speed and his agility up. Manhoof is good playing as a winger, so we're going to change him to inside forward so he can improve his finishing, because we know we're going to need to take every opportunity as it comes in the Premier League. And we're going to do the same for Thomas as well. Hopefully he hasn't stagnated. Oh, he's stagnated, but if it does come back, he's going to be straight away training his finishing. Stoke fans, Nathan Lowe, where did he come from? He looks like a really good prospect. Where did this guy come from? We're going to keep on training his target forward prowess because we want him to be super strong. He's got the height at 6'4". He can head. He's only 20. Where did this guy come from? He's actually decent. He's going to be on our bench next season and he's going to be playing alongside Cisse. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can actually contribute to the side. Fulham are looking to sell Josh King. He has been on our transfer shortlist for at least 9 months now. And I think he is a player that could develop into something special. He can be an attacking midfielder, play at centre mid and defensive midfield too. His potential is 81 to 87, and our scouts have already had our initial conversations with his agent and he seems game for the move. He's up for the challenge. I think we're going to bring him in, guys. We're going to offer 5 million for Josh King. I know it's a bit more than what the other team has offered, but it looks like Fulham are looking to get rid, and we can get one of England's bright young prospects. You know, Josh, we already know that there's another team that you're negotiating with, so hopefully these negotiations will go smoothly. He's not quite ready to step into the first team side, but he has the potential. He wants to be an important player, which is crazy. I'm not sure if he's good enough to sit Bay down at this stage in his career, but we're going to accept for now. You know, we'll do the rotation how we need to do the rotations. 34.5, Josh. How does that sound to you? Hopefully he signs on. He's in our office. He's negotiating, which means he's definitely interested. And that's a reasonable offer. Guys, we have made our second signing. And there's a nice young prospect that is going to be able to rotate in and out with Bay. And hopefully he makes some sort of impact from the bench this season. You know, I say from the bench, but the thing is, if he impresses, then there's no reason why he shouldn't be starting more games. He has an important squad role, so he's going to definitely be knocking on our door every single week, wanting to play games, right? But yeah, I'm happy with this signing. I think this is what we needed to do. We said we needed a new holding midfielder, and we got one. And then we also needed someone that can rotate in and out with Bay as well. So I'm happy with these two signings so far. First thing we're going to do is we're going to train him up, and it's only going to take 2 weeks to make him an out and out attacking midfielder. Wow, he looks a lot better than what I was seeing before. Very good. See, as you can see here, he's just not better than Bay currently in any type of way. He's a lot more rounded from a defensive perspective, but when it comes to attacking and being an attacking playmaker type player, Bay beats him all the way around, if I'm being honest with you. So we add Josh King to our subs bench right now, and I think we're looking good. We're rounding out very nicely. We are rounding out very nicely. If there is an area where we could possibly improve, I think maybe depth in the wing positions. And I have an idea. Maybe we can look at our youth academy to fill out these two gaps in our wings. Because we do need to find the next Rory Delap. We say goodbye to Sam Gallagher. We give a new contract to Freddie Anderson. We say goodbye to, I think this is our goalkeeper, Grant. It might be True Grant, I think. Yeah, True Grant has gone to St. Louis City for 690k. Edward Howarth goes to Watford for the next 12 months. We are allowed to bring in 2 more off the back of our promotion to the Premier League. That is very, very good. And look, there are some nice players here too. So we have done just that. We've got a defensive rating 9 stars out of 15. We've got our midfield 14 stars out of 19 and our attacking 12 stars out of 17. This will go some way in boosting player development overall, from senior players right through to the youth academy too. Theo Poole goes on loan for 12 months and we say goodbye to Seko, who goes to Hull City. We have a 4-star scout here that we're going to bring in for our youth academy. And I think this is a lot more fairer. Yes, we can treat ourselves because we're now in the Premier League with a 5-star judgment scout, but for the most part, I think 4-star scout is the level that we're at currently. The back end of last season, our scout found Dan Waters and Sam Woodhouse, and they both had an exciting prospect. So you know what, I'm thinking, because they're age 17, should we maybe bring them up and loan them out? That's what I'm thinking, because I don't want them to moan mid-season and then we miss the opportunity to loan them out. Wow. Who just saw that Paris Saint-Germain have took on Phil Foden for £83 million from Manchester City? Crazy. Look at Sophia, this isn't a good move. Rage bait, right? We say goodbye to Tezgel, who goes to Cincinnati for £2 million, and Montandon goes to Cardiff City for 12 months. We're also seriously lacking depth in our fullback position because we lost Cresswell, who retired at the back end of last season. Lawal can play right back, I think, so he can provide good depth from a defensive position, but I think we need someone who can also play on the left. So Josh King can now comfortably play as a attacking midfielder, so we're going to change his position, and now we are going to train him as an advanced playmaker so that he can fully step into his greatness and be the backup player to Bay for now. But I just had a crazy thought. Imagine we trained him to be a box crasher at holding midfield. That would be very interesting. Imagine. In our search for left back cover, we have added quite a few players to our shortlist and they are currently being scouted. Samuel Smith here is actually on the loan list at Chelsea, and he's 6'1", 20 years of age, and he looks like he might be leading the way. He's on the loan list. Guys, should we just bring him in? Let's not waste time. You know what, let's wait for the scouting report because I want to see where everybody's overall comes in and what their potential is saying before I make a decision. But Samuel Smith is looking like an interesting prospect. He might be a shrewd addition to the side, just like we did with Ashley Phillips here, who was initially on loan and then we made it permanent from Tottenham Hotspurs. Josh Platt goes to Deportivo in Spain for 12 months. Bro, the season hasn't even started. What do you mean? What? The season hasn't even started. Wow, I think he had cold feet. I think he had cold feet. That is insane. What, you don't want to fight for your position? Then so be it, Freddie. That is crazy. I literally just gave him a new contract as well. He literally signed a new contract. How does that make sense? He has 5 years on his contract, guys. Well, 4 years. This makes 0 sense, man. He just signed a new contract and he was happy. He definitely got cold feet. I mean, Wilmot's there, Phillips is there, Lawal is there, Talo Vieira is also here. I think he had cold feet because he was in the reserves, but that's still a shock. He didn't have to leave. Come on, man. I honestly think he's got cold feet with all the different defenders that we have on our shortlist, but this is a private matter. I can't believe he's actually made us such a knee-jerk reaction like that. In just under 2 weeks, we'll have the full scouting report for all of these players, up to 11 players for all of them, and I think Samuel Smith, yet only 5 days left on his scouting report. As you can see, right now, all of their potentials are pretty decent as well, and they even have decent potential so far. Samuel Smith is slightly leading because he is showing great potential, but Lucien Mahova also has quite high potential rating as well, but he's only at the club since 2024, so it's going to be interesting. Let's wait for the full report. We lose our first pre-season to Sevilla by 4 goals to 2. I'm only concerned if you scored our goals, to be honest. Thomas and Bay. Pearson also just signed a year-long extension at our side, and he's getting so many different offers, but we need him for depth. So I think his agent is definitely going out there and putting his name out and about, because why are these clubs coming for him if he's just signed a new contract? I think it's his agent. Must be the same for Freddie Anderson. He must have the wrong people in his ear and the wrong type of people around him, because why would you leave after signing a new 5-year long contract? It makes no sense whatsoever. And his squad role is only prospect, so it makes no sense. His agent and the people around him are just feeding him false information. We'll lose our next pre-season game to Frankfurt by 3-1. Bojnik getting on the score sheet, and you know, at this stage it's just about fitness for me, if I'm being honest with you guys. I didn't even give Anderson and his entourage my time. I just delegated this selling task to the assistant manager, and he has come to an agreement with a club, so we're just going to accept that. We have 2 youth scouting reports, and then we're also going to send out this scout. I actually waited until the first of the month because I like when all of the reports come on the same day. Nobody of note really from Jamaica, so we're going to get rid of all of them. We have 1 centre back in Logan Rhodes that has been found by our scout. He's showing great potential, so we're going to go ahead and add him to our academy straight away. And we're going to send Cos to Scotland to see if he can find us a rugged right midfielder. And in our final pre-season game, we draw 2-2 with Dusseldorf. Thomas getting on the score sheet as well as Rigo. Anyways, it's all about fitness, guys, as you guys already know. Bro, you wanted to leave and all of a sudden you're pulling out of negotiations. What is going on, man? You see what I mean? You have the wrong people around you in your ear, and now you don't know what to do with your career. Ben Pearson, what are you on about, bro? You just signed a new contract. Why are you submitting a new... Oh my days, guys, this makes 0 sense. This makes no sense whatsoever. So the verdict is in, guys, and I think we are going to go in for Samuel Smith, the Chelsea man. We're going to bring him in on loan, and maybe we can try to get him in like a loan to buy type of deal. But let's bring him in on loan and see how he develops as backup to Bocat. Chelsea even willing to let him go, but we're going to start off with him being on loan. What do you mean they're not interested in loaning him out? He was on the loan list. You know what, guys? We're going to buy him. Bonnet, we're going to bring him in, and we're going to offer 4.5 million for the young man. Maresca is happy to shake our hand on that one. Another signing, guys, is on the cards today. As Samuel Smith is gonna ditch Chelsea and Stamford Bridge for the Bet365 stadium. You know, hopefully he's not gonna want anything crazy. He's happy to be a rotation option. That is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. 5-year contract should be no problem. He's only 20. And we got Samuel Smith on a 33.5k contract. He was already on 30k at Chelsea, so that's why it was a bit expensive, but he comes in on a rotation contract, which is fantastic for us because that means he won't moan as much. And look at him, he definitely has the physical attributes. He's tall, slender, strong, quick, and I am happy that he is on board. You know, we definitely needed depth for this season in the Premier League, and I think we've added good depth to our side. Samuel Smith joins the Potters from Chelsea on a 5-year deal. So this is how our squad is looking for the new Premier League season, and I am happy with this. The only change to our first team is Remberg coming in as a holding midfielder, but more of the same really when you look at our squad. We did add some players to give our squad some added depth. So we have Samuel Smith who can help on the left back position, centre back and the left midfield position. And then we also brought in Joshua King who can help out Bay as an attacking midfielder. I think we look good. The only thing I'm thinking is that maybe if we don't want to play Samuel Smith as a left midfielder and Fawunmi is decent as a right midfielder, we do have young Jacob Robinson who's been holding his potential really well. We can bring him up potentially and put some faith in him, throw him in the deep end and see what he has to offer. He's pacey, he can dribble. Johansson is fully comfortable now playing as a goalkeeper. Fantastic news. And we are at day one of the Premier League season, and guys, we are not going to make any more changes to our squad. I am happy with how we are looking. I think we have good depth, and we're showing good faith also in the players that helped us to get to this position. In the next episode, we will start our Premier League season, and what a hard, tough start we have in store at home to Liverpool. And then we are going to go to Newcastle, and then we have a Carabao Cup game against Shrewsbury before coming up against Burnley. It's going to be so difficult in the Premier League. I can already see it. But this is why we played a beautiful game, right? Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think so far about our rebuild. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.